Hey guys, it's Claire
and Bella, and today we're going to talk about our tattoos and piercings.
Okay, so I guess I'll just start out by talking about my tattoo since I got it like a little bit before Bella. So basically, I started by making my appointment at the tattoo place, and the place where I got my tattoo does do walk-ins, but I would advise against that. And I just think it's like really important to set an appointment for like a later date so that when you go into the shop you can meet your tattoo artist and just like talk to them face to face and like get everything figured out instead of like meeting them and then having them tattoo you like on the first day. So I went in like, what would you say, like 2 or 3 weeks?
3 weeks.
Like 3 weeks.
Because it was going to be like that weekend. Or
yeah. Yeah, so I went in 3 weeks prior to my tattoo and I talked to my artist, and his name is Zach, and he's really awesome. And we just like talked about my idea, and then I put down a deposit for $40. It's different depending on the tattoo shop, but I put down my deposit, which basically just like held my spot with my tattoo artist, and it went toward my tattoo as well, so it wasn't like I was paying a ton of money extra on top of that $40 that I deposited. And then 3 weeks later, I went into the shop, and when you first go in, you want to come a little bit early, like before your appointment, and so I came like 15-20 minutes early, and they have like a bunch of paperwork for you to fill out that basically asks you questions about like medication and like all that kind of stuff. It's pretty basic, like
allergy
paperwork, yeah, that kind of stuff. So while I was filling out my paperwork, my tattoo artist was like cleaning up his area, and basically what they do is that they take your design, like if you come in with a design already like on paper, they'll take it and they'll make like a temporary tattoo almost. So he was doing that, and then when he was ready for me, I went in, and my tattoo is on my wrist. I guess I'll just show it to you, but we'll do close-ups later. So he basically like cleaned my wrist. So he put the temporary tattoo on my wrist, and I really liked the placement, so then he just like got his like ink ready, and like I was really nervous beforehand, but like being in the chair and like having it like almost about to happen, it like I wasn't that nervous. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Like it doesn't really hurt. Bella has a different side of the story, but my tattoo is in a place where there's like a lot of like skin, and so it wasn't directly on my bone, so that's why it didn't hurt that bad. It feels like really irritating, and
it's
like
uncomfortable.
It's really uncomfortable, but also like my tattoo is so small that it only took like
5 minutes.
Like 5 minutes for him to do, and like he would do a few lines, and then he would like get more ink and like wipe it off, and then he would like go over it, and like the whole experience like as a whole wasn't like too unenjoyable. Like he was really cool, and like he made it like really easy and like relaxed and stuff, and like it went by so quickly. And then he just like bandaged me up and like told me to moisturize, and we'll go over that later in the video. But yeah, that was basically my experience. So just to kind of go over like the meaning, I guess, of my tattoo, it's just 2 like letters. It says G2, and I am an artist, and I knew I wanted an art-related tattoo for like the longest time, but I never really knew what I wanted, and so I decided to go with G2 because that's the room number of the art room at my school, and it's pretty much like where I spend most of my life, and like it's just a really great place, and I got it written in my art teacher's handwriting, and I don't know, it's just like a daily reminder of like how important art is, and like how big of a role it plays in my life, and like that's so cheesy, but like I just thought this was like the perfect way to like summarize like my whole art journey, so that's what I got.
Basically my experience was like not completely different, like pretty different. My tattoo, I'll just tell you like the meaning and like what it is. I can't show you, I'll show you like close-ups later, but it's on my ribs, like under boob area. And basically it's like an abstract version of the Filipino flag, and I'm half Filipino, and I wanted something that like would represent that, but not like super cheesy and like basic. Yeah. Like something that was like meaningful to me. And so it's pretty big. It's like basically like, I don't know, like
your whole side.
Yeah, like my whole side. Like it takes up my whole side, but it's like very minimalistic. It's just like lines, 3 stars, and a sun. You'll see a picture. But so yeah, that's like what the meaning is and like what it is. And my experience, basically, the only difference was like same procedure, like came in early, filled out paperwork, he placed it on my body and like put the tracing on and like cleaned me up and whatever. But since it was on my ribs, it hurt so bad. And it took a really long time. It took like 50 minutes.
Yeah.
It took like 50 minutes and it was just like super uncomfortable and painful. And like he had to like change needles and like we used like 3 different sizes for needles. And like we used like a fancy shading needle, like a thicker needle for like the outline and a thinner needle to draw in the stars. And so it was just like super long and it hurt really bad because it was on bone. So yeah. So we have a couple of tips for you guys for getting tattoos, and the first one is pretty basic. Just follow whatever your tattoo artist tells you to do. And usually they'll give you a handout, and like ours was like, I know you're probably having an adrenaline rush right now, so like I'm going to tell this to you, but I'm also going to give you a sheet of paper that tells you step by step what to do on what days, and just like follow that religiously because you want it to heal the best way possible. You don't want it to like scar, like heal bad.
Yeah, because you spent like all that money and time like getting the tattoo, and like it's really important to like take care of it properly so that you don't like waste your money.
Yeah,
I think.
And then with that, make sure you clean it daily, if not twice a day, and moisturize it daily, if not twice a day. And especially when it's healing, just like moisturize it whenever you think it's dry or it feels itchy or it's like tight, because that means that it just like needs like more moisture. Like when you have a scab, like you want to itch it, but like you can't, so just like put more like stuff on it to like make it feel better. Also, don't be like freaked out if it starts like flaking. That's totally normal. That's like, it's just healing and it's like the scab's coming off.
Yeah, it's not gonna fall off. It's still like
your
in
ink's
your
not
skin.
coming out.
Yeah. Okay, also just like another basic tip is like don't get a tattoo underage, and like don't get an illegal tattoo, and like do your research before you go to a tattoo shop. Like we spent months looking for like a really good place, and like the way that we found our place was like so random. Like I remember I found it, I was at like a tea shop and they had business cards for the place like on the counter. And I remember I picked it up and I like went on their website, and that's how I found like the tattoo shop. And we checked it out beforehand. We like made sure it wasn't like sketchy and weird, and like it was very clean, and like the tattoo artists were like super nice, and like all the front desk people too. And so like it's really important to like do your research, and also just like wait till you're 18. Like we both wanted our tattoos like for a very long time, but like we waited until we were like legally able to get tattoos, and like it was so worth it because I don't know, it's better to like pay the money and go to a really good place and like wait till you're 18 or like older, rather than just like getting a tattoo in like a random place that will tattoo you underage. Because like honestly, no good tattoo artist is gonna tattoo you if you're underage and like doing it illegally. So as bad as you want it, if you're underage, it's really important to like wait until you're older.
And it like just gives you the time to like think about it and make sure I want this on my body forever.
Yeah, make sure you like know what design you want and stuff. So yeah. And I guess I'll talk a little bit about like telling your parents, or like I don't know, that kind of thing. My mom is like not super against tattoos, but like she's definitely not a fan of them. And I turned 18 in like early January, and I made the appointment like a few weeks after my birthday, and like I had been telling her like before I turned 18 that I really wanted a tattoo, so she knew that I wanted one, but I never told her that I like made the appointment. And then I was going to tell her like a week before my appointment, but she kind of like found out earlier. I don't know, she like found out earlier, and then we just like talked about it, and she was like, well, I know that nothing I can say will stop you from getting your tattoo. And she like is like, she disapproves of it, but she knows that like I'm gonna do what I want with my body, and that like I'm paying for it, and like I'm fully responsible for it. And like she's not fine with it, but I think it is really important to like tell your parents, especially if they're like against that kind of thing.
Just don't try to hide it.
Just don't try to hide it because it will always backfire.
Yeah.
Especially since mine is so visible. And I feel like even if mine wasn't visible, like it would be worse if she like found out about it rather than me like telling her, because I don't know, in my opinion, if you're mature enough to get a tattoo, then you're also mature enough to like tell your parents that you're getting a tattoo. So just talk about like my piercings. So I got my piercings the same day that I got my tattoo. Wasn't planning on doing that, but I don't regret it. Like I'm really glad I did it because I think I would have like chickened out and like put it off, and like these piercings are something I've been wanting for like a really long time. So the piercings that I had before were just like single lobe piercings, and I got those like 10 years ago. So it had been a while since I had gotten anything pierced, and I really wanted doubles and a cartilage, which is what I got. And we went pretty far out to a place, and we had researched it before, but we hadn't like visited before, so we didn't have like a vibe for the place. We had just like looked at stuff online and like called in, so it wasn't like we really knew the place that we were getting our piercings. Wouldn't really recommend that. I mean, obviously we're fine, and like they use like clean needles, and like we're not like infected. It wasn't gross, but I feel like it would have been better if we went somewhere that we had like visited first, or like even just stayed at the tattoo shop, because they did do piercings at the place that we went to. So I got doubles and a cartilage, and I got hoops for all of them. And this was my first time being pierced with a needle, because I have only ever had lobes, and I got those done at Clare's when I was like 8 years old with a gun, and like that was fine. But the needle was definitely like a lot more painful, and yeah, it was a lot more painful. I want to say getting piercings was more painful than getting a tattoo. Like, I think I can honestly say that, but that's because my tattoo didn't really hurt that bad. But I have a pretty high pain tolerance, and it wasn't that bad. Like, I got over the pain in like a few hours.
And then I have all of those piercings. And then I also got my thirds, and then I got my forward helix done, which is like right above your tragus, and we'll do like close-ups of that stuff too. And basically for me, since my tattoo is on my ribs, I'd say like tattoo hurt way more than piercings, and like I have a pretty high pain tolerance too. And the only thing for like this place that like I didn't really like was the fact that like the actual piercing itself is like really thick and gauge, and so it like took longer for like the piercings to heal. And I only got hoops for my thirds, and then I got a stud for my forward helix. And I actually took my hoops out earlier this week, which is like 2 weeks before the like first mark of like when they should be healed. And I put in like gold carat earrings, just because like mine were like healing fine, but like they weren't healing as like good as they could have been. And I felt that like since the gauge was so thick, that's why it was healing slower, because it was like, I don't have the earring with me, but like the hoop that they like pierced our ears with is like 3 times thicker than like a standard
you'll see
earring.
You'll see when we do my close-ups, because I'm still wearing the earrings that I got pierced with, so.
And so I feel like that's why it's like taken longer to heal, because like as soon as I changed my earrings, I feel like my like thirds are like basically done healing, and I feel like my tragus is basically done healing too, and like I didn't get a hoop with that one. But yeah.
Okay, so we hope you enjoyed our video and found it helpful. We just wanted to be like super honest and like upfront about our experiences, since there aren't a lot of like first tattoo, like first piercing videos out there, since like a lot of people that do these like already have a lot of tattoos. So we just hope that this was like helpful for any of you if you're thinking of getting a tattoo for the first time. So yeah.
Yeah, we like don't want to scare you guys. Like we just wanted like our honest like opinion of like our experience, and like so you know like firsthand versus like someone who's gotten like a sleeve. Like the pain isn't as much as it was the first time. So yeah. Thanks for watching. Bye.